What is up, my lords?
Your
my
grace.
Valo do Harris. Welcome back to another episode of A Song of Life and Death, a review podcast over A Game of Thrones. We are now on the season finale, episode 1.
So great.
My name is Alex. I'm from the smallest corner of Flea Bottom. I stink. I have Fernie over here to the left of me.
Also stinks.
One of the greatest lords to bless the South. We have Manuel, the expert over our lore in the books of
from Old Town.
From Old Town. Oh shit. And we have David across as well. How are you doing, David?
Oh, great. So I don't get a title. That's cool. I'm just
introducing you guys.
I'm just like Podrick, I guess.
Oh.
He is a good squire, yes.
Oh, he's a great squire, yes. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to another episode of A Song of Life and Death. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Laugh and Death Podcast. Also, check us out on youtube.com/Laugh and Death. If you are just listening to the audio, we are on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play. Still on Google Play? We're still on Google Play. Ecuador, shout out to the Ecuadorians. But if you do want to watch the video podcast, we do have some nice little effects and animation stuff like that we put in with our editing masters, Fernie and David. They put in some extra stuff, so it's really cool. If you want to check that out, they had some nice skills on that. But other than that, today we're talking about episode 1, just episode 1, possibly theories of what's going to happen next, what we learned from this episode. It's been, I binged these past seasons within a matter of a month. So I'm like already just starving for the next episode. Like it's just one episode. I have to wait a whole week. But yeah, we're going to get into it, guys. We're going to talk about what we thought about this episode and maybe relate a little bit back to season 7. But yeah, go ahead and take it away, David.
Awesome. So this episode was titled Winterfell. It was directed by David Nutter, and I got to tell you, this episode had me nutting all over the place. This budget for this episode was approximately $50 million. Like they said, typically every episode this season is going to be around that budget. I think some are going to be a little bit more than others since they're reusing a lot of the assets. The season premiere reached a new viewer record of 17.4 million viewers, up from 16.1 million viewers from the final season 7 finale, which is crazy.
And that's not taking into consideration people that pirated this fucking show.
Exactly, and people who are using other people's accounts, and people are having viewing parties. Like I know a lot of you all went to viewing parties where there's like other people in the room, but this is just like their viewer count on HBO Go, HBO Now.
Is it the memes? Can the memes play a role into promoting this?
Yes, and the internet has won over and over again this past weekend because there's been a ton of great memes that came out of this episode.
Follow our Instagram page at Laugh and Death Podcast. We have some memes there too.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, we've been stealing them from everybody. But a little bit about David Nutter. He has filmed 9 episodes of Game of Thrones. He's in charge of filming episode 1, 3, and 4 of this season. So he's been doing a really good job. And he also has 9 previous episodes where he won an Emmy for A Mother's Mercy for season 5, I believe, which he filmed the last 2 episodes of season 5. He also has a few other things. He does a lot of TV shows like The Flash. He's filmed 2 episodes of that. Shameless, 4 episodes there. Lost in Space. A lot of nerdy stuff. We have an episode of Homeland, an episode of Arrow. There's also...
That's cool.
Yeah, a bunch of good stuff like The Traveler, Nip Tuck. But yeah, he's done a lot of TV dramas, and you can really tell that he...
I'm sorry, what was his role again? Like what he...
Director for those for those series. So he just did a couple episodes for those. So what were overall impressions for the episode? Personally, I loved it. I did feel that Game of Thrones, I don't know, they kind of cut corners, especially with certain storylines, which I'm sure we're going to go into. But overall, it was heart-pounding and emotional for me to see all these characters come back after 595 days or something like that.
Yeah, it's a 595.
Ridiculous.
595, yeah.
I went crazy for the intro. I loved the intro.
Yeah.
I love the symbolism, the little hidden meanings, everything from the ballista being loaded to the dragons, they call it a scorpion, being aimed at the dragon's head, like you see that in King's Landing. And then the map room, you see it from a distance, and the snow crawling on the tiles.
That was great.
It was great.
That got
the
me.
Intro was... I was taken with the intro. I loved it. And at first I freaked out because it looked a little different when it starts. Like even the ring with the dragon on it, it's a different
wood.
It's wood, right?
Yeah, it's wood.
And it's a different pose. So I was like, what the hell? What am I looking at? And then the whole thing started. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I had a great time watching it, and not only because, of course, Game of Thrones, the first episode, but the spread that I went to with my friends, and like we all had this gathering. Maybe I can send you some photos. I have some photos. You can put it in the video or whoever uses it. But they made like food-based items. Like they had a roasted pig, which said the title was "The Boar That Got Me," and they had a picture of Robert Baratheon. Like
Nice.
it was just stuff like that, like Lady Sansa's lemon cakes, like Sansa Stark's lemon cakes, and Jon Snow brownies, and they had Milk of the Poppy, which is alcoholic, and then they had lemonade, which was called Wildfire, but just died. It was so cool. Like,
Hey, shout out to Hector for throwing a badass
Yeah,
party.
yeah, shout out to
Quick
Hector.
jab at Sam.
no, shout out to Sam though, for real. That was awesome for inviting me. That was a cool time, just seeing all that stuff. They had the Theon Greyjoy special, and it was roasted weenies, just
Oh my god.
forked. But dude, the episode, like, I loved the episode. The only thing is, I guess we're gonna get into it, but I wish the relationships between the people coming back together were a little bit more like
Fleshed out.
Dynamic.
Yeah, a little more just like, but maybe they're gonna expand on it into the next episodes.
What do you think, Fernie?
Yeah, I kind of liked where everybody was reuniting, but like I said, you said, I wish the reunions were a little bit more fleshed out or a little bit more just there. And it felt like this episode had a lot of symbolism to previous seasons and previous episodes. So I was like, okay, there's a lot of parallels here that they're building on. And that kind of makes sense that they're rushing through the story because I felt like it was rushed, but I still enjoyed it. It was a lot of setup that was rushed, but I still enjoyed it. And episode 1 was just 54 minutes, and I thought it was going to be longer. I think we all did.
It flew by, man. Yeah, my HBO Now account said like hour 16 minutes. I'm like, oh yeah, we got some good shit. And then 54 minutes and it was
flew
over.
by.
Yeah. And then it gets longer, up to 80 minutes, episode 5 and 6. So I'm looking forward to longer episodes until then. But yeah, I feel like just because there was so many things going on that it felt so quick, but it was a lot of information, which I really liked.
Before we go into the episode, I want to light the prayer candles for Daenerys and Jon. If you can do me the honors and light Daenerys, and then Emmanuel, if you can light Jon for us.
May the 7 bless them both.
Yes. Long may they
Good
reign.
grace.
Long may they reign.
So we start off the episode with a little boy running
that's like a
into
safety.
go see the army coming in, and it had a lot of like symbolism, like you were saying, Fernie, when you from the first episode, which is Arya like running around like trying to find to see a Robert and Cersei like arrive to King's Landing. So there was a lot of like parallels there.
And even like Bran, like the kid climbing up to the tree was Bran climbing the walls to get a better look also.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see Arya just like look at him and smile because she remembers herself doing that when Robert's army came in or Robert's caravan came in.
Yeah, it was really good to see. And then you also see Jon and the Hound and Gendry ride through and just see Arya's face like light up with every single one of them. Not so much with the Hound, but still, it was.
Well, I really liked Maisie Williams' acting there because she sees Jon and she's like excited. She looks like she wants to call out to him, but she kind of decides against it. And then she kind of has like a worried look because of Daenerys. Like she doesn't know what to think of her. And then when she sees the Hound, she looks surprised, like, oh, this guy's still alive. And then when she sees Gendry, like she has this face of relief and like happiness. And I don't know if you guys noticed, she had like tears in her eye. Like it was just like, it was just like she went through a whole range of emotions, like as a character and an actor, like without even saying a word. And I was like, wow, this is really good.
I mean, the last time she saw him, he was being sold to the Red Witch or Melisandre to get sacrificed.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's great. Yeah, it was a great surprise for her, I guess. And then there was this whole like betting thing where it was like who would be the first person to speak, and it's Tyrion. And in this scene, you kind of see between Tyrion and Varys, you see that Tyrion's still with his old like wit, but it's not the same anymore. It's become kind of stale.
It's a dull spoon.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not like jabbing the way he used to. And I don't know, having to do with a lot of his decision making that he's made over the last like 2 seasons, being with Daenerys, and and with Varys, like it's just like I'm not entertained by them anymore. Even though people are like, "Oh, that's like the best scene or whatever." But I'm definitely worried about Tyrion's mental capacity just in that quick exchange with Varys. I know I'm reading into it a lot, but I'm concerned about his decision making.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think maybe also the fact that he's not around such people like Bronn or other people in King's Landing that are kind of like this, because in the city it's different than compared to being in when he was in Meereen with Daenerys, and Daenerys is this. She stands for something. She stands for all the titles she has. Breaker of chains. It's just a lot of seriousness, and then you kind of, I mean, he's the hand of this very serious person who's trying to be a leader of all of the Seven Kingdoms and all this stuff. So I can see how maybe they kind of play that into his character of like, okay, maybe the wit is kind of living him, but for a serious reason, like all the things that are coming at hand, like the fight that's going to happen in the north, you know, and maybe he's just thinking about these things.
Yeah, because he does fail a lot more with Daenerys. Like he makes decisions that are good in the moment, but in the long run they turn out to be bad. Like trusting the masters from Yunkai and the other place. And
she's still like giving him trust, but she's also telling him like, look at the things you've set forth in front of me as my hand. And look what comes from it. And maybe he's contemplating what he's thinking and what he's doing now.
And I mean, with Tyrion, I really think, and this is gonna sound like such a dick move, but it's just the writing. They don't know how to write him. Like he's such a clever character. It takes a certain kind of person to write the character. So if the wrong person does it, it sounds clumsy. And that's how I feel about Tyrion. It sounds clumsy. It's not so much like, oh, he's emotionally wounded. Nah, just the guy can't write the character.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I'm not saying, you know.
No,
yeah. Like his first lines were a fucking played out dick joke. So and it wasn't even like. Varys is like, why do you can make dick jokes or unique jokes when I can't make sword jokes to you? And he's like, well, because I have balls and you don't. Like that was his reasoning. Like,
that's almost like I drink and I know things. Like just not Tyrion Lannister.
I got you.
But but it was cool.
Well, continuing with the caravan. We get a lot of like facial shots of the Northerners, and they're not fond of anything that's going on. They're not happy with what's going with the caravan coming through and what this is going to mean for Winterfell. And yeah, I'm excited to see like the tensions that's going to raise later on in the season. And then we also have that famous dragons fly in scene where you see Arya's face light up, and that's like the first time you see her smile.
While others are kind of like
freaking the fuck out,
running away.
It's always been a myth, and Arya's just like fascinated.
And then Sansa with her stupid squinty face. Yeah. I hope she dies a horrible death, but we'll talk about that later. She's pissing the shit out of me.
And like let me touch on this real quick. But with really said like the Northerners just like staring at them, like Daenerys looks not worried, but she's kind of just like, okay, like these people are not feeling me right now. And then once her dragons fly by and they all start getting scared, she just turns into like a smug looking face. She's like, yeah, I got fucking dragons.
It was like a fucking, she was flopping out her big dick. Like she's showing the power that she has. But as Jon, I would have been like, hey, the Northerners aren't going to take kind to that. So maybe we should just keep it back a little bit.
She should have been warmer. Very like, I'm here for you.
Wave and hello everyone. Like I'm here
with that smirk. It was like, fuck with me or fuck with me.
Yeah.
Jon Snow. Fun. All right.
Eat my snatch. I'm just kidding.
No, okay.
Anything else, guys?
As far as where we're at? I mean, also with Arya and Sansa looking at the dragons, like Arya sees them, she's like amused by them, or not amused, but like just she's like happy to see them.
She wants to get on one.
Yeah.
That's the face she makes. Like shit.
And then Sansa, like she has a surprised face, but then it turns into one of like, I have to deal with this now. Like she doesn't see it as a tool that can help them, but like more of a problem. I think like her face just turns like stone cold, and she's like, okay.
Yeah, because in a way, think about it. She just dealt with Littlefinger. Because this is like right after season 7. So she just dealt with Littlefinger. She just dealt with like her sister. Her brother left. He's not king anymore. And now this fucking bitch brings dragons. You know what I mean? It's kind of...
How is he not king of the North anymore?
Because he bent the knee to Daenerys.
What does that mean? It's just like, yes, I'm loyal.
Because by him... Oh, no, I can... Yeah. Like, I'm more like David. I would have been like, let's make an alliance. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have bent the knee. But since he basically said, I'm giving you my country, Daenerys, because I support you. That's what it means by he bent the knee. He gave away the North to Daenerys.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's why the whole North's like, who the fuck's this blonde bitch?
And then she has this army of foreigners. Like, it's just all foreign.
I thought bent the knee was be in my alliance, and we're cool.
No,
You
it's
take care of the
definitely
North. I'll take
bend
care
the knee and acknowledge me as queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
And he gave. That's why Sansa's like a bitch, because he gave away the. It would be like Trump giving the United States away to Putin because he's his friend. So it's like, what the fuck?
I mean,
Again?
Again.
Daenerys' whole thing is she's like, I'm the true heir. She believes, she's convinced she is the true heir. She is the queen.
And
so Cersei's not even a fucking thing in her fucking
And
mind.
the North was the only, when her ancestor was conquering Westeros, it was the only country to bend the knee without fighting at first, was the North. Everybody else fought except the North. So there's kind of, that's another symbolism between, but now it's opposite. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
I don't want to drag this through the mud anymore, but I don't get it. Like, because like Ned was king of the North.
No.
And
No,
Ned
he's the
was-
warden of the
Yeah.
North.
Warden of the North. Like, but they're self-proclaimed king of the North by the Northerners.
Well, okay, think of it this way. It would be like they called Rob king of the North because they were breaking away from the Iron Throne.
Which
So
they kind of carried into, after him passing away, it kind of still ensued that there's going to be a separate king. And then,
This is what happened. The North was with the Iron Throne, then it broke with Rob, then it went back with Bolton, and then it broke again with Jon, and now it's Daenerys's.
Yeah.
So that's
And
why
this
everyone's
whole
mad.
time when Sansa returns, Sansa's just kind of in her head of like, this is my home.
Yeah,
Winterfell's mine.
it's
The
been
North
like
is mine. So-
prostituted. The North's been prostituted.
Yeah.
And that goes back to one of the dreams in the House of the Undying in the book, that like all these midgets are raping a lady. And it's like all the armies tearing the land apart. Anyway, sorry, go.
Very cool. And so we also have a reunion for the season 1 is Bran and Jon reunite. When he like hugs Bran and kisses his head, I was like, oh, okay. And then Bran just ruins everything. Like when Jon says like, oh, you're a man now. He's
He
like,
knows too much.
almost. But what do you what do you all make of that? It's deep, right? Like almost a man, because he's not really Bran. He's not a human.
He's beyond.
He's beyond it. Or is it just because he's still a teen?
That was my question. Like, do you think 'cause he's a 3-eyed raven, so he's like more than man?
Yeah.
Or could he be the Night King?
And then, yes, I was going to say, could he be the Night King? And I mean, I'm kind of a man, but
He's a dead walking man. Ice cold man.
there's too many theories.
Too many. Yeah, I thought it was kind of a letdown. But then we also see Sansa and Lady Mormont welcome Jon, and they're not fond of Daenerys.
I loved Sansa's like giving Jon a hug and just like looking over his shoulder to Daenerys. And like even when they pull away, she's still just like locked on Daenerys. And Jon's talking to her and she's responding to him, but just like daggered-eyed at Daenerys. And it's like, damn, she's fucking like untrustful.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got the same impression, especially with Sansa's little squinty eyes, which she's gonna use the entire episode. Which I'm totally fucking over it already. But yeah, Bran cuts the shit and says, "You guys got to figure this shit out because there's the dead have the dragon, and they've already broken down the wall, which is the first that they're hearing of this." So
Daenerys' face when he says it was awesome. She was like, what?
for a half second,
Yeah, for a half second, like when he said like the Night King has the dragon. Like,
I don't know what kind of gives him like. I know with Sansa and like with Jon, maybe not with Jon, but like with Sam, he kind of has like credibility with them because he kind of told Littlefinger like the whole "you shouldn't trust me" thing when he was about to die. We didn't talk about that last season, but Sansa and Arya, they kind of have like a trial for Littlefinger and they kill him. And Bran reveals like he saw what Littlefinger did to Ned Stark at King's Landing when he had the dagger to his throat. And he kind of repeats the line like, "You shouldn't have trusted me" to him. So Bran already has this credibility with Sansa and Arya. Like they already know that he has visions or he has like whatever he has. But how does Daenerys know that he can trust what Bran says?
they haven't shown that.
yeah, they haven't. They need to have a conversation.
Yeah, because I don't think because Jon doesn't know either. He doesn't understand. I mean, Jon understands the mystics because he's kind of one with Ghost, which hasn't come out, right? Ghost hasn't been out. But yeah, I mean, if anyone would understand Bran right away, would be Arya, because she's the one that's dealt with like other people's faces, so it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, she's played in that
some type
field.
of power that's out of like
Right.
I don't know, a natural
Supernatural.
Yeah, supernatural.
And also, do you guys think that they should have made like this moment of like Bran telling Daenerys like, "Hey, they have your dragon, and the wall has fallen. The dead are marching south." Like, should they have made that moment a little bit more like epic or like intense?
It's her baby, and like,
Yeah, and it's just like the threat is already coming. Like, they have the fucking dragon. Like, do you think they should have been a little bit more fleshed out or something rather than just like a throwaway line?
It was. I wouldn't say it was a throwaway line because it was definitely powerful and like you saw it in the reaction. But I think they needed to have a few more lines of dialogue where it was like, "Oh shit, like we're fucked," and then she could have been like, "My child," and they can be like, "They have a dragon," and it's like, "But that's my child." Like they could have.
That
No,
should have
that's
happened.
fucked up because if you think about like back at Hearthome when the lady lets her kids go and then the fucking dead kids come and she's like, "Fuck, that's gonna be their fate," and then she ends up dying. I got like weird parallels when with her little reaction, even though it was so subtle. But yeah, I mean, like there's some missing moments, and I think if they would have made this an hour and 10 minutes, an hour long, an extra 5 minutes, we could have gotten a lot of those questions answered.
And real quick, and I think they made Daenerys, like, even though she fought the army of the undead, she still seems a little too focused on still ruling the Seven Kingdoms, and I didn't understand that. Like, I'm like, bitch, you just flew your dragon over zombies.
Yeah.
Like, why are you
lost
worried?
the fuck? And
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like, so I feel like she's still focused on trying to control the country instead of defeating the White Walkers. Like, that's what I felt Daenerys' motivation was.
Yeah, they're slowly bringing politics back into the show, and like Jon is the only one that seems focused on defeating the White Walkers. Like he tells like Lady Mormont when she questions him like, "We named you king and you came back like what?" Like, I don't know.
Shots fired.
Yeah, and he's like, "It doesn't matter," and they just respond like, "It doesn't matter. Like, we named you king of the North." But he's like the only one that's gone through like hell and back fighting the White Walkers and knowing what's out there and like dying and reviving and just like he's gone through the most shit and he knows what's important and what isn't, and everybody else seems a little bit too hung up on still who is king, who is ruler, like what titles they have. And
I mean, Sansa is definitely concerned about the logistics of it because to me, she's turned into Catelyn.
Yeah.
Like she's like, and how the hell are we gonna feed these 100,000 people? And how are we gonna do this? And what do dragons
And
eat?
two dragons.
And two dragons. And what do dragons eat anyway? Like you stupid bitch. Like anything really. Like for real.
I fucking Daenerys like anything they want.
Anything they want, and that means like to herself, like she's gonna get whatever she wants because she has a huge fucking army, whether you like it or not, and she's got two fucking dragons. So me as a dragon, I'm gonna get anything I want, and plus they're gonna eat whatever they want.
See, if I was Sansa and Daenerys was talking to me like that, I'm like, "Fuck you, bitch. Night King, make me your night fucking queen, and we'll take this bitch out."
You're not queen. You
I wouldn't doubt
You don't even
that-
got to change my eyes, motherfucker.
I wouldn't doubt that
I
doesn't
got
happen.
you. No, sorry. No, just Daenerys pissed me off. This whole, like the way you feel about Sansa, that's how I feel about Daenerys. Like she was just throwing attitude for no reason. Yes, Sansa's a bitch, but she had every right to be. It's like you just showed up. You know, you're dating my brother. Like, and you have platinum blonde hair. That doesn't make you northern. Like,
Yeah,
get out of here.
and you're right. This whole fucking time,
And then you show your dick, like
Yeah.
two flying dragons.
Daenerys and Sansa are still focused, not focused on this threat,
Right.
kind of. And Jon's just like, we're all gonna fucking die. He's just
Oh.
like, so we gotta fucking fight.
Now, I think there was some very subtle foreshadowing because after Jon was trying to explain and he couldn't capture their opinions, Tyrion steps in.
That's right.
Is there a possible switch of hand, maybe? Hand of the king later?
Possibly.
Well, technically, I mean,
Yeah, and I like when he like tells them like if we survive it's because of Jon Snow. Like he brought us the greatest army the world's ever known, two full grown dragons, and soon the Lannister army is gonna march south. I mean north to fight for our cause, and everybody's like, what the fuck, really? Like they just like
Dumbass.
like if Jon was losing them already, like I feel like Tyrion just lost them a little bit more.
So we also in that same scene we have Tyrion will step up like you said, and he says that the Lannister army will be joining the North to fight the undead, and nobody's happy with it, and everybody gives him the same look like, are you fucking kidding me? You really think that's gonna happen? And I don't know. Do you think Tyrion's setting his own death up by being stupid because he made a stupid choice?
I think he might get ostracized. Like half of the people he thinks are his friends are gonna like abandon him, but not killed.
I think maybe there will be a switch of like allegiance and loyalty, maybe, from Tyrion. I mean, given the information that we technically finding out, and that people are finding out in this episode. So maybe, I don't know.
And before we move away from this, like Sansa sends Ned Umber, the little Umber boy, back to Last Hearth. Yeah. To get his people and bring them back to Winterfell, and that's gonna be important later. So, we need to mention that.
Nice setup. Cool. So Sansa and Tyrion speak for the first time since King's Landing, since the Purple Wedding, and it was a little
Weak.
I feel.
You think so?
It was. I don't know. I feel there should have been an extra few lines of dialogue, but it was too like, okay, we know what he knows, we know what she knows, and they just said enough to.
I feel like I liked it. Like I feel like it was just enough. Like they don't. Because initially they didn't really even like each other being in King's Landing.
I felt it was it was contradicting everything like Sansa kind of set up in the previous season, because she would kind of vouch for Tyrion, and then she's
giving him this shoulder.
Yeah,
this
she
shoulder.
sees him and she's all like, "I think you were smarter than that." You know what I mean? So I'm like,
I think maybe it's because she sees that he was with the Lannisters in King's Landing, and then now he's up in the north with another,
True.
being the hand of another leader, and maybe she kind of sees like, okay, now you're here, like, so what side are you on, or what are you doing?
I expected a little more warmth, like at least from both of them. Like, it's kind of like,
I mean, winter's here.
like we were married. Oh my God, for 5 minutes, and then the seriousness,
Yeah.
right? But there wasn't even that. It was very, I don't know, cold.
Because she does question Tyrion, like if he really believes that Cersei's gonna come and help fight for him, and he's like, yes. And then that's when she says, like, I thought you was it I used to think you were the cleverest man alive. And it's like before she walks away, which is implying that she knows that Cersei wouldn't do that, like, and he's too blind to see that for whatever reason.
He hasn't been written correctly in the last 3 seasons or so. So I definitely feel like maybe it's like a jab to the viewer, because like I used to think very highly of Tyrion. And ever since he became like her right hand, like I'm just like, he's been a little off to me. All right. Arya and Jon reunite, and I gotta be honest, kind of teared up during this scene. I was waiting for it, and I thought it was perfect. They're at the weirwood tree. And
Seeing those damn Ned Stark hairs fucking hugging.
yeah, the little ponytails like touch at the end. I'm just kidding. And it was great to see because like she says, you used to be taller, but she's grown. You get it? And I just felt like it was very, very warm. And I feel about the entire story or the entire episode that this was one of the better written scenes. How did you all feel about it?
If I remember right, was it John that gave her needle?
Yes.
Originally?
Yes.
That was awesome. So him like her having it, and she's like, oh, he's like, you still have it, and like it's such a meaningful piece of a sibling love. Like, just I don't know, it's so cool to me. It's
Have
so
you had
fucking
to
cool.
use it?
A couple times.
times.
Yeah, once or twice.
And
My only disappointment was I thought Arya was gonna pull the dagger after he pulled out Longclaw. I thought she'd say like, "Oh well, look, I got one too," but she didn't. So I was like, "Oh man."
Should have.
Yeah.
She's like Valyrian steel.
I like how John doesn't even question like what she means of like having to use needle, because he knows like she took it seriously when she first got it. Like it wasn't like a toy for her. So and like just him showing him like Longclaw, and like I like how they both just go straight to like weapons. They don't even like, how you been, whatever. It's like, oh, look at my fucking sword.
Yeah, that's
Like,
such a cool.
That
That's
was
awesome.
their dynamic since the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's just like he sees her as a warrior. I think.
Yeah, just like Ned, kind of. Like how Ned sees her. He knows what she's made of and what she can bring.
Just again, and this is me. Maybe I'm just being an ass today, but I didn't agree with her distrust of Jon towards the end. Like, I hope you're fighting for our family. It's like,
Okay, so thank you for setting this up for me.
I didn't.
With Bran being there and Sam also being in the area, do you think that Arya and Sansa know that Jon isn't a Stark, or he's Targaryen?
No, I don't think they've said anything.
That's why I felt like when she said like, "Remember, we're your family."
Well, I think because John's already given up his title as king to Daenerys, and is bending the knee to Daenerys, and he's taking her side on most things
True.
with Sansa. Jon even tells Arya, like, where were you earlier? Like, I could have used help with Sansa. And he says, like, she thinks she's the smartest person here. And Arya replies, like, well, she's the smartest person I've known. And he kind of like, oh, you're the one defending her now?
That's even in that moment when they first by the tree, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's there. Yeah, and she says, like, I'm not defending her, I'm defending our family. And John's like, well, I'm part of your family too. He's like, well, don't forget that.
Yeah, that didn't feel real. That didn't feel like Arya to me. But maybe because of what happened with Daenerys, right? But
Or maybe what happened with Sansa in her last season when they brought down Littlefinger, brought him closer. Yeah, like, and then Arya's in the middle. I'm just saying, like, on the spectrums, like,
right?
Because he's like pro Daenerys, she's anti Daenerys, and she's right in the middle. Like, you got to do it this way, but also protect our sister.
I feel like Arya's just kind of survival mode, like for herself in a sense.
I think she's like the median, the middleman.
Yeah,
you know, she's right. She's like the center. She's just, I guess.
Yeah, because they kind of have a tense moment when they, and then like she just hugs him and kind of diffuses that feeling of like butting heads. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Cool.
And real quick, when you see Jon and in front of the weirwood tree, it looks like Ned. Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Love the imagery. So moving over to King's Landing, Cersei gets word that the wall has fallen, and she smirks, and I'm just like, oh, this cold.
She says,
bitch.
"Good."
I loved her, dude.
Yeah, she was fantastic today. I mean, in that episode. And Euron and Yara share a quick scene together. Thought it was kind of lame.
Yep.
I'm just gonna get past it because it sucked.
Wait, well, I think there's some important things we need to talk about there, though.
So Euron and Yara share a scene, and you had more context to elaborate on?
Yeah. Besides the line of like Euron telling Yara, like, we're the last two Greyjoys alive, like the only two with balls at least, like that was kind of like Euron being Euron. But Yara tells him that he picked the wrong side. Euron responds with, then I'll take the Iron Fleet somewhere else, but first I'm going to fuck the Queen. So I have a question for you guys. Does that, him saying like, then we're just going to go somewhere else, like if he picks the wrong side, does that mean like he's like can be quick to betray Cersei? Or is he just like bouncing around from place to place, like doesn't care, doesn't really take this whole thing seriously, or just
I think it's because, man, maybe I'd look into it too much, and I'm not even thinking about the writers. I'm just thinking of the show and what's given to me. There's nothing that can be changed, so it is what it is. So I'm thinking of it as a story, and I think it's like how he was traveling the sea and shit. He's an adventurer. He goes from place to place. That lives in him. So I feel like he doesn't give a fuck really about Cersei. He could just kind of whatever benefits him. I think he's that type of guy.
Yeah, like once he fucks her, he's like, mission accomplished. Yeah. Let's go to Cathay or Essos or whatever. And in the books, he's crazy. Like he drinks that blue liquid all the time. So he's not well. Like he is crazy. So that's why he cuts out everyone's tongue on his ship.
Yeah. So
he mentions that in that scene.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's gonna be like something playing against Cersei later on, like thinking she has an ally in Euron and then him. I feel like
she kind of has a tell on him though.
Yeah.
Maybe she's also like, maybe I shouldn't fully trust this guy, but right now he's helping me out. So she's also kind of like that in a sense. Whatever benefits her.
Yeah, I could see him just leave.
Yeah.
Just leave. Bye.
I'm out this bitch.
Yeah.
Iron Fleet.
We also get Theon and SEAL Team 6 come in and they save Yara. How the fuck that happens? I don't fucking know.
He was having sex.
Oh yes, he was having sex with the Queen.
Well,
yes, he
was. I really like this one because, like, yes, we mentioned like he kind of cut the tongues out of his crew, so they're all mute. So like them getting shot and it's like quiet. They can't really scream.
That's true.
They can't really scream, so it's still like thing. And
just
then
knocking on shit or what? bells. He had to make something.
and then you're on thinking he's getting cheered on, so it's kind of like.
Yeah,
that's great.
And then a lot of people on Twitter were happy to see like Euron, and the Iron Islands finally use their bows and arrows because apparently they're like one of the best like marksmen in the world. And they never really touched on that like since
throwing axes
like episode 1 when Bran was practicing and Theon like kind of brags about being like a good archer. So people are like, oh, they finally went back to the source material of them being like archers and using that. And fucking Theon rescues Yara, and she just headbutts him. And
that was very Klingon of her. Very Klingon. Like, yeah.
I fucking hated it. I hated every second of that thing. We'll get back to that, though.
What does that mean? Ever die?
I know that it's like, and the North remembers. See you later.
So in the Red Keep, Euron presents Captain Strickland, who's the head of the Golden Company, to Cersei and lets him know, like, oh, we had to kill a couple because they cheated.
The Golden Company is from Bravos, right? It's Bravos.
Yes. In the show, it's from. Is it? No, it's not Bravosi. It's from Essos.
Oh,
but I don't know what city they're stays.
Is it through? Oh, okay.
I think it's Lys or Mir or one of those.
Well, we get the Golden Company, and they also kind of ruin everything that I was hyped up about with the elephants, and everybody on the internet was also very upset that we're not going to get any elephants.
CGI baby
in this season. So yeah, what did y'all think of Captain Strickland? I think he looks like Lawrence from Funhouse.
Funhouse.
Kind of gargoyle looking.
Big lips.
I didn't think much of him. I guess he didn't really. To me, it just didn't happen.
From what I remember, he's a Westerosi captain that he left Westeros and he was raised in Essos.
I mean, not everybody, but like most of the people from like different regions, they have like their own like race to them. Like Westerosi people are a little more white complected, and people from Essos are a little darker. Mm. So he kind of does look like a Westerosi, and I had that same feeling also when Missandei and Grey Worm were riding through like Winterfell, the outside, and people like they were the only people of color like in the whole thing.
Yeah, all the people were looking at them like, are them brown people? You
know what I mean? I mean, I'm pretty sure in the show it's just more like, oh, it's people from like another like a foreign leaders, or
they're
like,
not from here basically. Like
they're not thinking about like racial stuff, but like I feel like he looks more like a Westerosi person.
Yeah, because even his name Strickland is like Westerosi sounding.
And so Euron pleads his case to get some pussy and tells Cersei, I gave you justice, an army, and the Iron Fleet. And she says, if you want a whore, pay. If you want a queen, earn her. And I was like, man, all these bad bitches online who eat hot Cheetos for breakfast are going to be like, that's my fucking quote. Yeah. They're going to put it on their fucking Twitter handle. Yeah, exactly.
They already started.
It's on their Twitter. It's on the Tinder bio now.
Yeah. Fucking sluts. So anyway, Cersei gives it up.
And she gives it up, right?
She gives it up because she knows if I lose him, I lose everything. So I kind of need to fake it to get it. And she's going to set up.
Just like, fuck, where's my brother? Okay.
No, fuck her brother.
And Euron was right. No elephant boat got her some dick. It's like...
and then he kind of like... And then when she... Like, he's like... She's like, I want to be alone now. And he comes over and puts his hand on her belly. And it's like, I'm gonna put a prince in your belly. I had a question. Do you guys think that she uses Euron... Because last season, she said she was pregnant. So, if she's pregnant... Because you're kind of not convinced on that.
No.
If she's pregnant, do you think she's going to do the same thing to Euron as she did to Robert? Like, pass off Jaime's kid as his to like complete the alliance?
Of course.
Because she was kind of reluctant to sleep with him, and then I feel like when she was walking away and he was still kind of like just talking shit.
Can't get pregnant if you're pregnant.
Yeah. I feel like she's like, okay, this is the chance I have to kind of make him believe that it's going to be his.
You know what? She kind of made a face after he touches the belly. Like, you can, like, almost see her calculating. Like okay.
Yes.
Like, yes, the fools. I'll be pregnant again, and it won't be Jaime's. Yeah. Even though it is.
Allegedly.
I think it's a tumor. I don't care what's his name says.
Because the prophecy does say she's only going to have 3 kids.
Yeah, that's right. Maggie the Frog.
And the prophecy has been right about her so far.
So Qyburn approaches Bronn with the task to and a lot of gold to kill Cersei's brothers, and
with the crossbow,
that was given to Joffrey, which Tyrion used to kill Tywin, and I thought it was all beautiful. I'm like, oh, it's poetic justice coming.
Evil bitch.
Yeah, and Qyburn even mentions like the queen has a keen sense of poetic justice.
This is fucking family.
This is after he's fucking those 3 fucking.
He's trying to.
Yeah. And he's just kind of in the middle of their conversation.
Yeah, and they're talking about the Lannister men like that were like burned or like killed at the Blue Train battle. And people on Twitter were like, one of them mentions is like, you know that boy Eddie? It's like the ginger. It's like, yeah, he had his face burned off, and people were like, Eddie. Ed Sheeran, because he played a Lannister troop last season.
Oh, his eyelids burned off.
So people were like, "Oh, maybe that's a reference." I don't know, but I thought it was funny, so I had to mention it. Cool.
Yeah, that's great. And so they kind of set you up with this thing with Bronn, like Bronn's a sellsword. So do you think? And we can have this discussion now. Do you think he's gonna kill Jaime or Tyrion or both?
I can't decide. This is my take. I'd like to say no, because it's Jaime and fucking Tyrion, and Cersei to him, I don't know, but also maybe he's just gonna grow tired of like, man, I'm just like doing all this shit for other people, and like so many things happen in the end where I barely get out of it with my life. Like maybe he'll do it. I mean, just get done with it.
Tyrion couldn't pay him or fulfill his promise to him. Mm-hmm. Jaime could. He gave him a bag of money, but he didn't get the castle he wanted. Mm-mm. Didn't get the gold that he wanted.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking maybe he's gonna just do it and finally I don't know.
But do you think he's gonna kill any of them?
That's what I'm saying. I had to say no and yes. I don't think I want him to. The friend in me doesn't want him to.
I don't think so. Like, okay, yes, like most of their friendship with Tyrion and Jaime has been transactional, as in like they gave him gold and he like hangs around with them. But I feel like Bronn is gonna move past that, so he's not gonna do it. He's gonna take Cersei's money. He's just like, fuck it, like I'm just gonna take the money and go to where they're at and fight with them. Or if he does go and tries to kill them, I think it's gonna be interrupted by White Walker battle or something. I don't know.
I mean, but Qyburn does make a point like, look at me, I was kicked out of the Citadel, and look at me now. I'm the hand of the queen.
Imagine
like
what
she pays, she actually does it.
He's like, imagine what she'll do for
someone who does. Yeah,
I think Bronn, being Bronn, he's gonna go with all his heart's intention to shoot fucking both of them. Well, for the money, right? And then once he sees the dragons, he's gonna be like, you know what? I'm on your side, guys, and whatever. And Cersei try to kill you.
But I mean, he's already fought against dragons though, and he kind of brags to like the girl, that he shot one. So I don't think he really cares about the dragons.
But I think when he sees the whole army there, like they're ready to fight another force, like it's true, like the whole thing is real, the White Walkers. And I think he's gonna tell Jaime about Cersei, and that's when Cersei kills Jaime. Oh, Jaime kills Cersei. Sorry. Yeah, because
with the crossbow.
With the crossbow, because it's yeah.
I don't know.
And then he's still in love with her so much, so he pulls it on himself.
You never know, dude.
I don't know. Because like if you think about it, like he has betrayed, not really betrayed, but like he did go to the higher paying person when it was up to him to fight for him for against the Mountain, and he said, "Hey, can't look at I got nice clothes now. I got money. They're paying me. Somebody else is paying me now," and he couldn't fight for him. So. If somebody's paying, he's still willing to do it. But I know... But this is Game of Thrones,
But he's a survival, though. He's all about keeping his own skin. That's why I think he'll change. He'll like rat out Cersei.
For money, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
he saved his own skin for money.
And I guess he kind of has to like know that Cersei's going to lose, or like... Because why would he go against the queen of the Seven Kingdoms? Like... I mean... He has to know that he's going to be safe. He's not just going to like betray her because he knows that Cersei's going to send other people after him after that. Like if he's so concerned about his survival, like don't fucking bite the hand that feeds you, you know?
And there's a bigger hand.
And right now it's Cersei. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
And do you think Cersei kind of gave him the order through Qyburn because now that both Jaime and Tyrion are against her, like she knows the Valonqar prophecy? And, like, she's worried about that now?
Yes.
But I don't think the Valonqar prophecy is in the show. Not that piece.
Okay.
Not that
That's
piece.
going to be for, like, surprise, I think.
Or unless she's setting up Bronn and she's going to try to kill him. That's another possibility, too.
Because she did say to Jaime, like, what are you going to do to Bronn? He betrayed you.
I forgot about that.
Because I thought Qyburn was going to kill Braun. And, like,
Me too.
When it first started, I was like, he's like, there's a wagon with chests of gold waiting outside, and I'm like, don't fucking go outside. You're gonna get stabbed. Yeah, so you're gonna get stabbed
with little knives. Yeah.
Little shanks.
He's gonna open the chest and like,
Are we cool?
yeah.
All right. So Theon and Yara are on 3 ships. I don't know how they managed to steal them from. I guess well, you're right. They can't call to another ship saying like, "Hey, like."
Yeah, they're on mute.
Boosted over here. So yeah, Theon tells Yara that he's willing to do anything for his queen, but he knows what he has to do. He has to go to Winterfell to go fight alongside Jon because he owes the Starks that. And Yara says, "Okay, I need to go to
take back the Iron Islands.
Take back the Iron Islands while Euron's over here, and we need a place of refuge for anyone that might not make it out of the battle at Winterfell."
I wish she would have given him like more specific instructions with that. Like, tell the queen, like, I'm her backup base. You know, she just kind of said it at first so they could leave.
I think it's implied, like, there's a lot of stuff where they say things to each other, but I think it's implied that they are going to communicate, like, all that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for dramatic effect. Like,
yeah,
it should be like you want to see that, like, she's still, because in a way, it felt like you just wrote her off. Like, well, I'm going back to take my homeland, so we'll see you in Winterfell, Theon. You know, that's what I kind of felt.
I think she has a bigger role later, though. I think this is a lot of foreshadowing. I have a feeling it's going to be a bad battle in Winterfell. They're going to lose it. Like, a lot of people are going to die. I'm worried. Seriously worried. Moving on. Do you have any additional things? No? The Karstarks are back in Winterfell, kind of with their tails between their legs. You see that sigil. And we also get a scene with Davos, Tyrion, and Varys where Varys and Davos are kind of like trying to ship Dany and Jon as getting married.
That's a thing.
To make an alliance to solidify both regions, which makes sense.
And this is just to, like, have the northern men or, like, the northern people trust Daenerys more. But he tells Tyrion, like, if you want the trust, earn it. Because the Northerners know Jon, the Free Folk know Jon, like, they don't know Daenerys. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of like, hey, like, you're not gonna rule, like, the North, like, peacefully, or they're not gonna, like, bow to you if they don't trust you. So then they need a reason for them to trust you.
This is that conversation that they're having as they're looking upon them, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I like the conversation they had there too. Like,
it was good.
Everything Varys was pointing out and stuff of, like, they keep you at a distance because
that nothing lasts.
Yeah, nothing lasts. Kind of
like, why are you saying that?
Melancholia.
Let's have a little happiness in Game of Thrones.
Well, do you think that's foreshadowing also of, like, looking at them and saying, like, they keep us at a distance because, like, older people at a distance because they know, like, they have a reminder that nothing lasts. So you think that they're gonna have trouble in their relationship, like Jon and Daenerys?
Yes, automatically. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it now. I don't think she's gonna live. I think that was our foreshadowing. Like,
was that the Azor Ahai prophecy?
I don't know. No, I have another way to put that one together, right? But I don't think she's kind of like Nisa. I don't think she's gonna live. Like, so in a way that was like telling the audience, like, it looks cute now, but one of them might be single. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah. I can see that.
I mean, do you think they get married this season?
Oh yeah.
Do you think it happens? It has to happen in the next episode.
It needs to happen now.
Well, I think Davos says, like, after the war is done, like, it would be nice, like, for the first time, if the Seven Kingdoms are ruled by a just queen and a nobleman. Yeah. So I don't know if it was just after or.
I'll get to this at the end of the episode, but I have a theory why they would get married next episode. So I'll get to that later.
Cool. So Jon and Daenerys are seen as everybody's prepping for the battle, and Daenerys says to Jon, "Your sister doesn't like me." They go for a little walk, a stroll, and the Dothraki screamer comes by and says, like, "Hey," tells them how much the dragons ate, which is I don't know, it was some sheep and
Like,
some goats.
like 12
14
or
and
13.
12,
yeah.
Yeah, and so Daenerys seems concerned, says like the dragons aren't eating. I'm like, that's a lot of fucking meat, but it's also a big fucking dragon.
Oh, and I think I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but like when Daenerys tells Jon like, "Yo, like your sister doesn't like me," it's like she doesn't have to be my friend, but if she can't respect me, and then that's when she like sees the Dothraki coming, so she kind of pauses. I think was she trying to like threaten Jon or like warn Jon like if Sansa doesn't like
I'm gonna feed her to my dragons.
Yeah, bend the
I'm a
knee
fucking
to me.
bitch.
Like, do you think that she's gonna do anything to Sansa, like exile her or like imprison her, or even worse, like she did to the Tarleys, like
She's
execute
gotta
her?
be smart about it, because if she does that, they lose the entire North, even with Jon.
See, and that's what I was saying. Why Daenerys is so like preoccupied about her rule shit, because already she's making threats to Jon's sister. Like I just came to the North, I conquered your land, and your sister doesn't fucking like me. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like she didn't go on Facebook and like all the baby pictures. It's like, hey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she was threatening.
Yeah, like I said, we could just be reading too much into it, but I thought it was up.
Because she threw a bitch face too.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one of those like.
And Jon's just like, there's fucking dead marching over here. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
I squint my eyes more.
Yeah. Blue steel, bitch. You know?
So they go over to see the dragons, and Jon and Daenerys. Daenerys gets on the dragon on Drogon, and it's so cool to see like Rhaegal like look at Jon the way, because like it's his dad, like it's named after his father, and I was like, oh, they got a real connection. And I hear in the books, once somebody rides a dragon, it's like bound to them.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, they imprint. Yep.
That's super cool. So Jon gets on Rhaegal. And they take off, and it was like a super Harry Potter moment for me with the Quidditch thing and him learning how to fly.
The robe like flapping in. Like,
So fucking cool. And if you didn't think that Jon was badass, him flying over Winterfell on the back of Rhaegal, was fucking awesome.
Was
like
awesome.
If that's my king right there, you know?
Yeah, like, it's in front of Varys Davos and Tyrion, and they're all just like, what? And everybody else just looking up like, oh shit. So I have a question. Can only Targaryens ride dragons?
Yes.
Okay.
No, Valerians. That's a
Valerians.
misconception. Valerians can ride dragons.
Okay, that was what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask you, because if only like Targaryens could ride the dragons, like would that be like a test from Daenerys, like to see if Jon?
Or does she know that?
Yes
Yeah.
and no, because she has to assume that something's up with Jon.
It's never been said in the show
Or is it,
about that fact. In the TV show, it's never said only Valerians or Targaryens can ride books.
Okay.
And maybe,
I mean, dragons.
maybe
in the
she
book, it
sees-
says it. Sorry,
and
I'm saying.
maybe she also sees that like the dragons see that Jon is close to her, and she trusts Jon, so she like
That's what I think.
I trust it. My dragon should trust it.
Right.
That's what. But she doesn't know that
Because she's
Maybe,
made
you know.
that proclamation with Missandei, I think, like in season 2, where it's like, well, my dragon's like her, she's good. You know what I mean? Like,
Do you think anybody else attempts to ride a dragon and then they get eaten? I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I mean,
it solidifies the fact that only Targaryens are Valyrians.
or in the show, just people that they trust.
Yeah.
because someone can ride with them, but only one person can pilot.
Oh
the
yeah, because
dragon.
they fucking took
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Hound, they took Tormund, and
I can't wait till Arya gets on it with Jon. Like I can't wait for that scene. It has to happen. If it doesn't, I'm gonna throw my TV out a window.
We'll get prepared to buy a new TV. I don't think it's happening. No, not at all. So yeah, we get the whole montage of them flying. I thought it was fucking awesome. They land, and according to if you watch after the show, David Benioff and David Weiss the Double G's say that Jon takes Daenerys, which doesn't make any sense, to his old hunting grounds, which is where that waterfall's
Well, he
at.
sees it and he lands.
Yes.
Yeah, because she lands after him.
oh yeah, and she's like, we could stay here for 1,000 years. We'd be old.
And so like they were like, oh man, if you think about it, like Jon has a lot of history with caves, his little fuck palace.
Yeah, that was I was gonna say that was the parallel with Ygritte being like, oh, we could just stay in this cave.
And he's for
With the
1,000
waterfall.
years. Yeah, exactly.
That's like, have you seen How I Met Your Mother and like this Barney Simpson's like playbook? Like Jon says like, take bitches to waterfall.
You son of a bitch.
That's funny. That's great. That's right. And so yeah, they ride the dragons, and it was a cool like bonding thing. And like for the first time since Jon and Daenerys have been together, I bought it. I don't know how you all felt about
Yeah,
it.
because they kind of like just right off, and I think it was more of a hey, let's get away and to make out.
Yeah.
Like
Let's get a way to make out.
yeah, like you're hanging out with your friends. You're like, hey, we're gonna go over here, and then you just go make out somewhere.
Quickie.
Yeah.
Like grab the dumpster.
I mean, I think it's believable by what she said. I mean, when I see the actors together, I don't feel the chemistry. But I mean, she did invite someone to ride one of her dragons. Like, she's never done that before. I think she would have let Khal Drogo fly one of the dragons. That's why I know Jon Snow is legit with her. And Jon Snow, well, yeah, he's just into her. But I don't see the sparkle in their eyes. Or
I do when she was like, "We'll keep your queen warm," and I was like, "It's cheap, but okay."
Yeah,
That's
down.
back when Jon Snow
Yeah.
told you that. You'd be like, hey.
it's cute. It's cute. I feel like Daenerys is more into Jon than Jon is into Daenerys.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you can kind of see that. At least I can see it.
I mean,
don't know.
yeah, it's not horrible. It's not like Khal Drogo and her or even Ygritte.
My sun and stars.
Yes,
universe,
like
galaxy
that fucking
bullshit.
because
Yeah.
for how close they are, I don't feel there's been enough like feeling. You know what I mean? Like you felt it with the other two. Of course, they don't have enough time, but you don't get that. Like she walks into the room and he like skips a beat. Nah, it's kind of like, yo, what's up?
Also, it's fucking Aquaman. I mean, you put him next to John.
It's true. Twice as tall.
Yeah. He's got fucking eyeliner, fucking rock star, dude.
And I guess John also kind of has the whole like he's like I said like we've been saying like he's worried about the White Walkers still. Like he's not just thinking about Daenerys and that's the only thing that matters to him right now. Like he has a lot of things in his mind that he has to balance out.
True.
Cool. So moving on, we get another huge reunion between Arya, Gendry, and the Hound. I guess enough was said with the Hound and Arya.
So you're
Yeah.
cold little bitch, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted more, but we do see Gendry wielding the dragon glass, like melting it down and making weapons and stuff like that. So that's a lot of like setup for what his role was. It's kind of cool how they just like acquired a blacksmith who's like now a main character.
Yeah. Because when we first met Gendry, he was a blacksmith apprentice at King's Landing, right? And I guess once he started roaring away, he rode back to King's Landing and became a full-on blacksmith also. And was his hammer that he made like when they went north of the wall, was it made of dragon glass as well?
No.
No, it was just
A big old steel.
Okay, just because it looked black, so I wasn't.
No, yeah.
And he makes the Hound an axe, and I like how the Hound moves from swords to the axe. I think it was kind of like a callback to, was it season 6 where he
the Broken Man.
Yeah, where he kills those people with an axe. He's like, oh, I guess I like this weapon better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good callback. I don't know how he's gonna fare well if he fights the Mountain with an axe. I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see.
I mean, he probably switched to the sword, but I think for right now, fighting the White Walkers, the axe would be okay.
So yeah, I mean, going back to Arya and the Hound, like I think it was like they respect each other now. Now that I thought it was a cool line where he's like, "You left me for dead," and she's like, "I robbed you.
Yeah, I
first.
stole your money.
Stole your money first." And okay, just for like my own personal fan fiction, like, do you think Arya could take the Hound if they had to fight? I want Arya versus everybody. I want to know who's the best.
Well, she kind of did like
When she was
draw
practicing?
with Brienne when they were like sparring.
I don't think she drew with Brienne. I think
I mean, Brienne was about to like she could have Arya could have stabbed her and Brienne could have stabbed her too.
And also I saw like when she's practicing and she's still with the Hound and the Hound wakes up and he sees her practicing dancing and shit and he's like they're having that back and forth and she hits him in the gut and she's kind of like and he's like and he fucking gets pissed and hits her and shit, like drops her down. Like he was kind of like surprised by it, I guess. I think he could take her.
the Hound.
She's small and fucking.
I think
can
she
move,
could
she's
take
agile,
him. She would like cut his tendons and shit.
Exactly.
She's been trained
The
by
back
the
of the
faceless men.
leg.
Yeah.
And then she go like this.
Artery in the and it was Brienne the whole fucking time. Oh, you got little. Yeah, sorry, just my
Yeah.
thing.
Wait, speaking of that, did Brienne ever come out in this whole?
She was just in the background
see her.
in the hall
Oh, okay.
in the hall with all the other lords.
She always looks scared, like frog face. Yeah.
Cool. And so we also get the reunion with Gendry and Arya, and I don't ship this whatsoever. I don't want Arya with anybody. It's not
You're
because I
just
love
jealous.
Arya. It's just like I don't think I don't like it. I don't ship it. But it was cool.
I didn't see any flirting.
Yeah.
I thought there would have been flirting, and there wasn't.
It was like kind of like an awkward
remembering, or just kind of like I don't know.
No, it was kind of awkward because she kind of compliments him on the axe that he made for the hound, and she's like, you got better, and he's like, you too, and she's like, what? Like she kind of has a look up for like what? He's like, well, I mean, you look good, and then like he just walks away because it was awkward, and she's just like, oh, thanks, you too. And then when she shows Gendry plans for a weapon that she wants made, and then after that they kind of have the flirty like, oh, you're just a rich girl. After he shows her like the dagger,
steel, yeah.
And she's like, I'm the only rich girl you know. And then she walks away and like then turns back around with a smile and like watches it.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know.
Scrub it out of my
Do you want to hear a
memory.
crazy theory? I think that was foreshadowing that Gendry's going to meet Sansa, fall in love with Sansa, and then Arya's going to get fucking pissed, and they're going to hate each other.
No, I don't think
I
that.
think so.
Yeah, I think that's too deep.
That's a little too far out.
You never know.
Yeah.
So I went on Reddit and I looked up this thing with the weapon, the schematic
Yeah.
that she gave to Gendry. It's a short staff. It's like a mace, but with the dragon glass on the end. The only thing you can read on the thing, if you look at the still, is dragon glass. And I feel like it's collapsible, obviously, because it's in two parts. But I feel like she's gonna have a Valyrian steel dagger on one end, the other, and she's just gonna fucking, because she was fighting with the poles, so she knows how to fight with poles, and then it's gonna break, and then she's gonna be able to do the
baby.
Yeah, but Arya's gonna do all that shit.
That is one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
I feel like it's gonna have the two attachments, and it's also gonna break in the middle, so she can fucking. It's gonna be like a mace.
Wield or staff.
I think she's doing both.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It
Dude.
better fucking happen, and I feel it. It's gonna be good.
I didn't look that up, but I had the thought of like she's gonna put a needle inside it because it could twist off. Like it looks like it twists, like it comes together. So I feel like she would have a room to put needle in, and then put the dragon glass. Like I thought it looked like a spear on the top.
All right, so Sansa and Jon talk, and they within their conversation, House Glover has backed out of their fealty to the Starks, and they looked a little deflated. And then Sansa asked Jon, like, did you bend the knee to save the North, or did you do it because you love her? And he doesn't answer. So let's kind of analyze this situation. Like, Glover didn't back him, and this is the same like bald old man from the last season where Jon failed to communicate with him. And Davos had to step in. So what do you all think this means for them not having House Glover with them?
Well, after that, and then they have the Battle of the Bastards, and then they're at the hall there in Winterfell. House Glover says like, sorry, we couldn't have been there, but now that we are, like, we're gonna stand with House Starks like we have for thousands of years. And then like Jon kind of repeats that line like to Sansa. He's like, didn't he say that? Like, didn't he say like he was gonna like be with us? And then Sansa kind of comes back with like, yeah, he kind of said he was gonna stay with House Stark, not with Daenerys.
No, so he was gonna stay with you.
Oh yeah, with you,
with Jon Snow.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of like Sansa telling him, like, see what you're doing, like you're
dividing the North.
You're dividing like the people that we need. And then Jon kind of gives it the whole spiel again of like, don't you have any trust in me or any faith in me? Like this thing isn't important. Like we have to fight. We need alliances to survive.
I'm glad he told her that. She needed to be checked like that. Like, hey, like everything I've done has been for the safety of everyone else.
And then he says like everything has been for the North. Like if it was between a choice between the Crown and the North, I would choose the North. And then that's when Sansa asked like, did you bend the knee to her because you wanted to protect the North or because you love her?
Is this Sansa using Littlefinger's tactics against Jon?
It doesn't seem like it. I don't know.
I'm not saying against Jon. She's using her tools to figure shit out. Like she's been around Cersei all her life, and then she had her tutelage from Peter Baelish. So I think now she's using those skills to really analyze her situation. So I think that's why, like you're right. Like she's trying to figure out if Jon's doing it out of love or out of loyalty to know what she needs to do next to protect her people.
So in the very next scene, Sam, Daenerys, and Jorah are reunited, and Sam's a bumbling idiot, I guess. And I'm gonna stumble out of my
I
chair.
love that.
I hate that shit. It's so fucking cheap to me.
Yeah. I mean, he has.
Sorry, it was really harsh.
Hey, no. Let me explain. That's Maester Aemon's great niece. And she's the queen and with 2 dragons.
And
Of course he's a bubbling idiot.
And it's the first time he meets her too.
Yeah.
And even after that, he has 2 other moments that are kind of like bumbling idiot moments. Like, and we'll get to those
Too
later.
fucking often.
But yeah, I feel like Jorah's bringing Daenerys like, hey, this is the guy that saved me, and it was supposed to be this big, like, proud moment for Sam, and then it turns into like devastating, like learning that Daenerys executed her father and her brother.
No, that's like, I took some books from the Citadel.
I
Please
need a
pardon me.
pardon. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, but I burnt your
Oh
family.
yeah. Okay. How about this? I burned your fucking dad and your brother.
I mean, I think
We cool?
Yeah.
Sam's acting in that scene was awesome.
No.
I thought it was great because you see how he's
Oh, yes.
pissed off with. He's upset.
I like what he
about-
said. I
He's
just
mad
didn't like
about his dad.
his fucking sobbing. I liked what he did with his dad, but finding out about his brother, well, I don't know.
He was like,
just
"Oh, okay." He was a bit of a cunt, and then when he said, "Well, at least I can go home and be with my brother," it's like, "Oh, he stood with him," and he just like, "What the fuck?" Like, he's the last, and you're starting to see it amongst everybody because everybody's been killed off, but like the last heir for each house is like still in play, and we'll see who gets entirely wiped out. But yeah. Lots of stimulation. Lots of big stipulations going on right now, especially with the ties that they have to each other. Especially because she feels she owes Sam something because he cured Jorah for her,
and she killed his fucking family.
and she killed his family. So it's like, what are you doing? Anything else we need to elaborate on this?
Cool. Who was it that died? Dickon. I'm sorry. I had to do that.
God damn it. and in this, I mean, if Kevin Smith ever dies, I feel like this guy could probably play a good Kevin Smith, a fat Kevin Smith.
For real.
He looked like dead on. Like he just needs the black frame glasses or whatever. That's just me.
He doesn't have to talk and be Silent Bob.
Yeah, and then bringing us could be Jay. I'm sorry. It's just the hair. It's like I grow a little bit. I'm just being stupid.
They should do that, dude. A little parody or whatever. So we also have Sam and Bran get reunited again. Stumbling idiot. Almost gets hit by a carriage.
There's a lot of tropes
hate
that they
this
do, like maybe in the show, and it's always like oh no, my whole world's ending, and then like people just walk into traffic, and then like they almost get hit by a car or something. They're like, "Well, I'm sorry," like.
Life means so much more now.
Like Sam did the same thing with Sam, and I was like, okay, fucking bumbling idiot. And the whole meme of just Bran staring at people, like he did it to Tyrion after he talked to Sansa, and he just looking up at Tyrion, and then Sam gets out of the study area, and he sees him across the courtyard, and Bran's just staring at him, like, oh, okay, like
he was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that happen." You saw that? Yeah, I was sitting right there because he was just sitting in the fucking middle of the freaking area. It's so stupid. Anyways, Bran tells Sam that now it's time. We have to tell him that he is who he is.
tell Jon about his parents. Yeah.
You see how prophecy's working? You see how like Tarly's had to die to fuel Sam to getting so pumped up to telling Jon that he's the king? You see how it's all working out?
It is. And so we go into the crypts and we see Jon standing in front of Ned Stark's crypt. And here comes bumbling Sam tripping.
He's
again.
angry now.
Yes, now it's angry fall. And he just lets him know. And like, I mean, before we go into the whole conversation, there's some awesome imagery that we get of Jon standing in front of Ned. And remember in season 1 where Ned was like, hey, I'm going to tell you who your parents are the next time I see you.
Or who your mom is.
Or who your mom is. And obviously Ned's dead, but he is standing in front of his crypt. And so that's the first time he's been into the crypt that we know of.
Like that.
And he turns and he takes a few steps like, Sam, what are you talking about? And now he's standing in front of his mother. And I was like, fuck, these fucking writers. They got me.
That was good.
That was good. That was good imagery. But yeah, who wants to set us up for this conversation with Sam and Jon?
I just want to remember real quick. Does this start off with Sam first talking about, do you know what Daenerys did?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then him questioning, would you do it?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And John responds with like, "Yes, I've executed men that have disobeyed me before." But and then Sam kind of goes back with like, "Yeah, but you also spared them." Like,
He's like, "You were a king." He's like, "Yeah, I was a king, but I bent the knee." He's like, "No, you're the king of."
That's right.
Yeah, like you've always been king.
Yeah,
you've always been king.
You are the king
of everything.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, okay, as a book fan, this is why I'm afraid of this season, because like we're gonna officially hear all the theories or how it's gonna end. So that was like, it was a very cool moment for me, especially the way Sam tells him like, "Look, John, you're the fucking king of Westeros. Why? Because there's your mom, and homeboy was your dad, like Rhaegar, like
Yeah, homeboy was your dad.
hey, like you are the real." And he's like, "And my father was lying to me." He's like, "He had to protect you from Robert. Robert would have murdered you." Like all the whole, like everything's coming together. Like all the reasons for the rebellion.
I like that he did turn around and then he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Like he's just kind of like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude?" And it's like, yeah, all that comes spewing out.
And if John since John is gonna know that his brother saw it, what's his name?
Bran.
Sorry, since Bran saw it, and Sam has the paperwork from like the Pope,
the Maester's,
and
the Maester's journal or diary or whatever.
because accepted it, right? What's his name? One of the priests did the annulment.
It was the Grand Maester.
The Grand Maester. No, he didn't do the annulment. It was one of the priest dudes.
I
The Maester wrote about it.
Okay, well, I don't know.
No, but I'm saying like because they're married, like okay, sorry, because his birth was legal and he's not a bastard. I think that's what's gonna cause John to tell Daenerys they should get married. Like that's why I think they're gonna get married in the next episode or the episode after that. He's gonna be like, "Look, if this gets out, it's gonna tear us apart. There's gonna be a civil war. So let's fucking marry like Targaryens do, and it'll be House Targaryen that's fully committed with the North." So I know I kind of went long on that.
No, that's great. No, that's great. I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, because that's the question I have. Like Sam tells John that he gave up his crown to save his people, and asks if Daenerys would do the same. So do you think John would tell Daenerys what he just learned, or keep it to himself after the battle? If he tells Daenerys beforehand, how do you think she would react, and how would the Northern men also react? Like, would they still have loyalty towards him, since he's technically a Targaryen, but he still has Stark blood in them? So like, is that enough for them to keep their loyalty towards him?
In the Stark lineage, who's older, Ned or Lyanna?
Ned.
So Lyanna was next. So with Ned dead, Lyanna would have taken.
Yeah.
Does that work that way, or it goes to his children?
It was Rickon, Ned, Lyanna, then the little brother. What's his name? Cold Hands. Yeah. Benjen.
Oh.
So it would have gone to
younger
Benjen, but since he was Night's Watch, it would have gone to Lyanna.
So does that mean he's also king of the North or no? Because it was Ned's kids, right? Ned's take the fealty after that?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So from that, like the rules of heredity, it would be Ned Stark and then his children, and if none of them survive, then it's the next oldest brother and their children. If they don't survive, the next and their children. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, what do you guys think? Would they still like follow him if they found out that he's a Targaryen with Stark blood also?
I think Daenerys first. When she finds out,
I think she's
gonna be mad. I think she's gonna be like pissed.
I think
that,
so
like,
too.
This whole time she's trying to take over. She's this rightful heir,
and now you're in my way.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm afraid that she's not gonna want to honor it.
That's why I was questioning like at the beginning, like what gives her like the sorry. Like, that's what I was asking in the beginning. Like, what gives Bran credibility with Daenerys? Like, because the only reason that he knows about this is because he saw it in a vision. And yes, they have, like, the diary to, like, back up with a paper trail. But she could have been like, oh, they made that up or whatever. Like,
he's going to reveal something to her
that only she knows.
She's going to know. Maybe, or have a message from Khal Drogo or something. Like, that's what I think. And, that's why I'm saying John's going to feel like he has to marry her. Like, let's get married, bitch. We already love each other, so there won't be a fight. Like, let's get married. And you're saying if the North will support them, I think when they find out, the White Walkers are going to attack, and they're all going to be dead. So, like, the main characters are going to escape, so it won't really matter. I know that sounds dick, but
Okay.
No.
So, again, last question, real quick. Why do you think Bran thought it was so important to tell him right away? Is it because you know that the White Walker is already close by and that was the only chance they have, or does it have to be like an emergency wedding?
I think so because it's gonna cause them to have sex and then have that kid that needs to be, because if they wait
Again,
the kid won't make it. You know what I mean? Like she might be pregnant. What if she gets killed? Like it has to fall into place.
Or maybe
What?
he's just giving them this information to divide them because he's the Night King.
Oh my god! Hey, you never know.
Dude.
You never know. I still don't believe that, but
I have a theory regarding that one. We'll talk at the end that I saw last night.
So Ed, Tormund, and Beric. Is it Beric or Derek?
Beric.
Beric are in Last Hearth, and they're sneaking through the halls. They hear a thing. They run into each other. Pretty funny moment.
I like that one.
He's
Yeah.
got blue eyes. I've always had blue eyes. that was pretty funny. But they do discover Lord Umber mounted to the wall with the swirling body parts, and it's these swirls we've seen throughout the series, and especially in season 1, where episode 1, and then we see it again in the cave at Dragonstone, which is very crucial. And then also here, now that the little boy's been mounted in there.
This is in Last Hearth.
And in the
Last
Fist
Hearth,
of the
yeah.
First Men too, right? There was
Yeah.
a big one with horse parts,
yeah.
right?
Yes, the face of the first man.
That's right.
So
Fuck, I forgot about that.
this has been seen throughout the place, and then throughout the show, and it was pretty cool, like horror to see the eyes open and then just start screaming. That scream was
my
like
God.
Dude, that screech was awesome.
super memorable, and
I
it was
loved
a
it.
great job. But the little kid's got the sword. And he's trying to like. Yeah. Not only was he clutching the sword in him, he also had a sword in his hand. He's trying to like.
Yeah.
And then he
hack away.
stabs him with the sword of the Lord of Light.
And
For
then-
real.
and then lights
Burn
it
that
up.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it. I was watching it and taking like screenshots to put into the video, and I'll just pause it, take a screenshot, and then like play it again. And I just completely forgot about this, and it was like maybe like 10 at night, and I was just like in my room in the dark, whatever, not paying attention, and then I hear. And I just jumped out of my desk like, what the fuck? Like it scared me because it was just so like sudden, and the screech is like so loud and high pitched. I was like, oh no.
And it was a good length, like duration. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. It was just like, it's kind of like you wanted it to stop. You're like, whoa, shut the fuck up. Like you were kind of creeped out. It was good.
Yeah, it was cool how the fire continues to spread to the limbs, and it's
Yeah.
just like a burning spiral, and that was.
Real quick,
Awesome.
Manuel, what's the meaning of that symbol? Do you know, or is
No,
it
there's been in the books. There's been no explanation.
no concrete? It's just like this. It's just what it is. That's a symbol
I'm sure something will be revealed.
Oh yeah. But in the books, they also talk. Like the White Walkers talk. So they have
Okay.
they sound like ice being crushed. Like
Imagine this. That moment where Bran gets touched by the White Walker. Bran opens his sleeve and it's that symbol on his fucking arm.
Oh, I said that. I said
Like,
the handprint.
up like ice. Like, yeah.
Or maybe he's the Night King.
Well, that's why.
Last scene of the episode, we have a hooded character walk through the gates. Which if a hooded character, if Jaime Lannister could sneak into Winterfell, fucking security. Cause come on, guys, security.
I know. There's
It's
like
fucking stupid.
there's like huge armies outside of Winterfell. But yeah, sure. A hooded guy can walk in.
Yeah.
With
Well,
the
I mean-
clean gold hand.
It's not like he's walking or like he's riding through to Winterfell by himself. Like this is a whole caravan of like people going into Winterfell because they're calling everybody there. So he's kind of like mixed in with the crowd.
That's
he's,
true.
He's the only one riding a horse,
Like,
but
if you're alive, you're not an enemy.
Yeah.
So that's true.
But he's like, you look under the hood, he's fucking handsome as fuck. But like, you kind of
The most famous face in Westeros.
yeah. But yeah, I thought that was cool. Like him looking a little more ragged and older than what we saw last
I
season.
mean, he just rode on a horse 1,000 miles. Which
Yeah.
must have taken him at least a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so cool. Like, just that it's not like the whole jetpacking thing where like we see the progression of the time spent on the road.
That was great to see. He takes off his hood, looks around Winterfell, and locks eyes with Bran. And Bran was like, "Hey, sister fucker." I hope Bran, the first thing he says to him is like, "The things I do for love." or something stupid, or
Yeah.
he's like in Forrest Gump where he's like, "Hey,
Oh,
hey,
I love that.
hey."
Your mother really loves you, huh, boy?
She cares about your education.
Yeah, she cares about your education. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was funny because when Sam was talking to him the night before, he's like, "What are you doing out here?" He's like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for an old friend." So I guess Jamie was the old friend that he was waiting for.
I didn't put that together until
I
this
thought it
morning.
was Sam. I thought he was talking about Sam. I'm like, oh, that's nice.
So what do you think it's like Bran's reasoning for waiting for Jamie? If it was Jamie, like the old friend he was waiting for, like does he have a type of revelation for him, or like or what plan does Bran have? What do you think he would have for Jamie?
Oh shit.
Because it's kind of interesting that he, I mean, other than being petty, like, hey, bitch, I'm still alive. Like, after you pushed me out the window and, like, you know, other than that, I feel like it has to be something more because Bran does say, like, we don't have time for all this. And then he's just sitting outside in the courtyard doing nothing.
Or what if he was like,
just waiting for him.
what if he's like, I'd give you a standing ovation, but
Oh, actually, I have a kind of a weird theory.
okay, that's
I think Bran is gonna kind of like absolve Jamie for killing the Mad King. Like he's gonna explain to him, like, because of you, we were able to do this, Jamie. Like your killing of the Mad King was pivotal. Like it needed to happen. And I think that's gonna make Jamie like a better person. He's gonna be fully committed to like the heroes.
And you're probably like, if you didn't push me out that fucking window. I mean,
No, and he's probably gonna thank him for that too
Yeah.
because it needed to happen. Yeah.
So yeah, that wraps our episode recap. But we are going to talk some quick theories, quick online stuff, things that we saw online. But before we wrap up, would you have something else? Fern?
Did you want to go through the episode 2 preview? It's not that long. It's like for like the Game of Thrones put out on YouTube.
I only watched it once.
I mean, I have like bullet points here. It's
Okay.
like Jamie looks like he's on trial at Winterfell.
Yeah.
And then Daenerys tells Sansa that he, I think meaning Tyrion, should have never trusted Cersei. And Sansa replies with like, you shouldn't have either. So I guess Jamie tells them that Cersei's army is not coming to help him, but rather than take him out.
That's how he shows his fealty or loyalty.
Yeah, and it looks like Sansa and Daenerys are talking like in a private meeting between them. Like maybe that's Daenerys giving her, as Daenerys is seeking Sansa's counsel to gain her trust. Like I think that could be also. And then Jorah unsheaths a sword that looks like it's made up of dragon glass because it's kind of like dark and black. So, and then Jon and Daenerys are in the crypts while Arya's voiceover is saying, "Death has many faces. I look forward to seeing this one." So, I feel like if Jon tells Daenerys about his lineage, I think it would be there in the crypts again, like looking at Lyanna. And then, and then Tormund is at Winterfell. Like he finally gets to Winterfell from the Last Hearth, and he tells them that there will be there. The White Walkers will be there when the sun comes up tomorrow. So, and then we have scenes of troops getting ready for battle, and Trebuchet is launching things, and then it ends with Tyrion looking over the wall at night. Like, so I don't know if he's looking at the Army of the Dead or just seeing the camp.
I predict that the next episode ends with the White Walkers like on the verge of coming in. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my question. My next question: do you think they're gonna start fighting next season, or not next season, next episode, or is it just gonna be the beginning
I
of the
think it's
battle?
be episode 3.
Okay.
I think they're gonna attack. Like say there's like a pre-battle before they hit Winterfell. I think Winterfell will be attacked in episode 3, like destroyed or taken or whatever. But I think the end of episode 2, there's gonna be some kind of pitch battle, or a preemptive attack.
Yeah, maybe in episode 2, towards the end, you'll probably hear the screech of that ice dragon or whatever, and then we'll just be like,
It's
"What?
wicked,
There's
man.
our mind over
they
here."
did
You know?
extra work with this one. It's just like it's just so fucking weird to hear. All right, cool. So we're gonna talk about full-on spoilers. So if you don't want to listen in or theories or anything like that, you can go ahead and tune out now. Thank you for following us, and you can check out more of our content over at youtube.com/laughingdeath. All right, let's get into this. So the media was crazy around this episode. And I just want to talk about general, like, what did you all see online? Like, was it more? And obviously, with the swell of the season and it being 595 days or something, that's the last episode. Like, this was like a cultural phenomenon. It has been, but this was like extra.
I just want to say that I guess since we've been talking about this whole thing of like Bran being fucking Night King, I've already been seeing thumbnails of there's a picture of Bran, a picture of a Night King, and then Arrow, and then it says Game of Thrones theories. But I still haven't clicked these videos. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
a lot of them are clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait.
Yeah.
Like, it tells you, and then it's like, or maybe not.
Yeah. It's very vague and very just like, yeah, how it could be. But that's. I mean, other than that, I haven't really.
I got stumbled
I've
into
seen memes
a
and
rabbit
shit.
hole. Yeah, with theories was like, this confirms that the Night King was a Targaryen and a First Man. So who could it be? And I'm like, what? Like, because he's a dragon rider, and I'm like, and then people were like in the comments were like, but we all know that the Night King can bring back like dead animals. So it's a dragon, but
But it
dragons are
doesn't
bigger
breathe
than that.
fire. You know what I mean? So it's like a necro dragon. It's not a dragon.
So like that's why I was asking if the Targaryens can ride only Targaryens can ride dragons, because if that was the case, then the Vikings like magic overrides their magic or something like that when he brings something back. But I guess now that we know kind of it's not true.
But remember, I'm sorry, no, because I had to piggyback off that. All magic is done in either fire or blood or death. Like, remember, only death pays for life. So maybe that's why the Night King was able to take the dragon, because he uses like death, right? And the Targaryens' bond with the dragons is fire. So there's that pull and pull, like that push and pull. But then since they're White Walkers, maybe they have a new kind of magic, which is ice. I mean, I'm not sure, because they bring the winter with them, like they bring the cold. So that's why, that's what the Song of Ice and Fire is all we think is about, between the Battle of the Dawn and shit.
And then I have a question. Regarding to magic, like in the opening sequence, like we see the weirwood tree. Like even in the old one, they kind of like we see it kind of sprout up, and then in this one, they kind of do more of like a first person view of it. Does the weirwood tree in Winterfell, like, would it help them fight against the White Walkers? Like, does it have the same power as the one north of the wall that kind of kept them at bay?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, just because Bran.
Right.
I mean, I would think like he marked them in that tree. Maybe another tree has a different power.
I think since Bran broke the warding spell. Like, since he's a green seer and there's only one at a time, it's like he's like super pope. Like, so since his like protection's broken, it doesn't protect anybody else anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like he's, I don't know, like the super holy children of the forest figure. So since he's tainted, there's no more protection. What I'm thinking, you know what I mean? That's just my theory, like why they'll attack. Cool. Unless it's true and they destroy everything except the Godswood, because that's where the tree is. They call it a Godswood. So that would be cool too if everything else is destroyed except that.
Fernie had showed me some stills from the opening credits. You know how the new, I don't know, the wheel on the six, whatever it's called, is wood now. And there's also four dragons. A dragon with the comment with a dragon head on it.
I didn't see all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna post it right here.
So it's four dragons, and we've actually only seen 3 dragons. And then the comment was kind of signifies the red comment that we saw in season 1 when Daenerys first got her dragons. So, do you think there's going to be a 4th dragon that we haven't seen yet come back?
Unless maybe they're talking about Jon being the dragon.
No.
Targaryen.
Why are the dragons eating? Because they're gonna lay eggs. They're pregnant.
Or they haven't been eating.
Exactly. I'm sorry. Why haven't they been eating? Because maybe they're gonna lay some eggs. Because their thing changed.
Okay, so question: is the exchange of dragon eggs a Targaryen ritual?
Yes, that's a Targaryen
Through
ritual.
weddings?
Well, no. What they do is when the child is born, they put a dragon egg in the crib. So if the dragons lay eggs, they're gonna have a kid, Jon and Dany.
Well, okay. Knowing that, do you think that when, because Rhaegar, right,
Yep.
knew that Lyanna was pregnant and she was giving birth, do you think he left a dragon egg with her, like that we didn't see at the Tower of Joy, and then once they took her body back after she passed away and Jon back to Winterfell, Ned kind of kept it stowed away, and there's a theory that there's a dragon egg in the crypt of Winterfell, like further down where Ned hid it.
Well, it's actually, I think, well, if it's the same theory, there's a dragon egg in the wall. Because the dragons couldn't pass, but they stayed at the wall for a while, so they think a dragon egg was left in the wall. Because there's a prophecy about dragons from stone or something coming to life. But
you don't think that there's a dragon egg in Winterfell, like in the crypts with Lyanna?
Nah. I mean, because Rhaegar didn't have one. Unless somehow he just pulls it out of his ass. Like, oh, look, we had a dragon egg this whole time. When it's very specific, like, there was no dragons anymore. Like, the last one was like a little cat.
Yeah, but it could have been like a...
Petrified?
Petrified, like the other ones were.
I mean, yes, like, but no one mentioned it.
Something is keeping the springs underneath Winterfell hot. What is it?
The natural springs under Winterfell.
Really? Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I mean, no.
Fuck me, right?
No, serious. Sorry. No, but really.
No, yeah. I just think it's interesting that they showed the fourth dragon and it's larger than the other three of them and the comet.
I think it's because they're gonna have eggs. I think the age of like dragons and magic is coming back. That's why. I mean, so that's awesome. I didn't notice that. Now I want to go watch it.
Yeah, because they also have like in the rings. We didn't talk about that in the beginning, but in the rings they also have like the story of the Red Wedding, and they have the lion with the fish in its mouth representing House Tully and the Lannisters, and then Robb Direwolf being hung and like the arrows in it, and then a man holding a direwolf head, which is like Robb is like killing and beheading. Mm-hmm. So they kind of tell the history in those rings, but like this one's like a brand new thing, and it's at the end, and it lingers more like on it than anything else. So I don't know if it's part of the history or.
So, in the previously on, I don't know if I'm reading too much into this. On the previously on, before the episode, we get reintroduced to Tyrion, and he has the crossbow. When he fires the crossbow, it cuts to the scorpion shooting into the dragon's head. Am I looking too far into it?
No.
So are you saying that Tyrion is going to be a reason why one of the dragons dies?
I believe he might be the one who kills Daenerys, or he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be the new Kingslayer.
Or he's gonna be the one that kills the Night King's dragon.
Maybe that too.
Yeah,
yeah, because there's a theory out there that this season's gonna parallel like the whole story of Robert's rebellion, with Dany burning the Tarleys alive, and like the way the Mad King did to the Starks, and it's just like a bunch of things like Euron could betray Cersei, like the way Tywin Lannister betrayed the Mad King, and it's gonna just come full circle. So I mean that could be that the Hand of the King, or I mean Jaime wasn't really the Hand of the King, but a person close to the king kills the queen or whatever. So yeah, that could be it.
I don't know. I just saw it and I'm like, it's a stretch, but like it could be because as soon as he fires, like it shows that the scorpion go off and the arrow goes right through, or the arrow goes right through the dragon's head. And I'm like, fuck, like I know they're reintroducing all these elements, but I don't know if I'm about that. That's cool. Theories. So I saw this huge theory about the swirl or the glyph that the Night Walkers left behind. And they're like, oh, Targaryen confirmed. Because like when the sigil or the body parts light up, it looks like the Targaryen sigil, which are not sigil, but like the dragon on their banner, the house banner. What do you all think about that?
Can I be blunt?
You can shut it down, yeah.
That's horseshit, I think.
How so?
Because one, it looks like a hurricane symbol on a weather thing, not so much the Targaryen house. Because it's like evenly spaced out like arms, right, of the swirl. And yeah, I mean, just because they're circular, I don't think.
But I think it's all weak. The limbs are in a circle. Even the spikes of the dragon they're all going counterclockwise, just like the swirl.
Yeah, I mean, it's like saying, well, this guy has a picture of a dog and that guy has a picture of a wolf, so they're like the same house. You see what I mean? It's kind of like Clegane and Stark. It's I mean they both have canines, right?
But it's like the most similar one though. Like it's still kind of like they're still within the same breed, like of whatever.
True.
And they kind of put a lot of attention to house sigils like this episode. Well, not a lot, but like just they kind of just touch on it,
Car
like
Starks.
the car Starks, and then they kind of show the Umbers Hasejo when they get to the last hearth. Maybe to show us where we were, but
Previously on had the House Glover
yeah,
fist.
like they kind of just throw those hostages like in there to like get in the back of your mind. But yeah, I don't know if it's too much of a stretch, or
I think it's a stretch.
okay.
Let's get one prediction around the table for the next episode. You want to go? Do you have something else?
You go.
No, I just think that they're gonna start the fighting, maybe because they kind of have the trebuchets kind of going off. So I don't know if they're fighting the White Walkers already. They don't show any in the previews, and Jamie gets off like whatever, like he doesn't get prosecuted because we've seen him in teaser trailers before the season even started, like him fighting.
Do you think he heads the army? Alongside
I think they
Grey
can use
Worm?
him. Yeah, I think they can use him. He's a command, or he's been the Lannister army commander for a while, or the head of the Kingsguard also. So he has experience.
I feel like my only prediction right now that I can think of, which I was telling you earlier, was that I don't know if you guys grew tired of them, but like how we kind of skip over Yara and like Theon, just kind of like why do they still have them, in the show? And I'm like, maybe Theon, them going to the north and stuff, maybe Theon's gonna sacrifice himself during the battle to like what I'm saying is maybe for Jon to kind of like as an apology of like what he did to the Winterfell and all that stuff. Maybe that's like something that's gonna happen, something theatrical with Theon. Maybe
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of ex machina things that happen just to save a character.
Yeah,
to keep them in the story. Like I feel like Ghost's gonna die. Like saving Jon. I have a feeling the dragon's gonna die. Saving Jon.
And then more so, I feel like Theon because he's always
Theon.
He's left. Like when Euron had Yara, he fucking jumped.
He owes his life to
and
the
he's
Starks.
kind of just like a coward.
I think they might just kill Ghost because I've heard that they kind of cut back on the direwolf budget a lot, like to the point where he's barely not even the show anymore. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything else.
They gotta wrap it up though, so they have to kill him off.
Those fucking dragons.
Okay, one thing no one's mentioned that I'm waiting is the meeting between Bran and Melisandre, because they need to connect. She knows the prophecies and he sees everything. Those two need to get together. So I think next episode is gonna kind of be like Bran's encyclopedia. Like he's gonna like tell all the main characters what they need to know.
Yeah. Because
there's only so many. Then I think the episode after is when Winterfell falls. I think Winterfell's gonna get destroyed. This is just me, but I think next episode is all Bran. Like Bran's gonna like give everybody the right information because they have to cut the shit. Either people die or they're friends.
See, I think next episode is more going to be more politics driven with Daenerys and Sansa and the whole like maybe Jon telling her what his parents are or who his parents are.
And I think that's why Bran steps in.
Or maybe that's why Bran's being just this fucking dead guy.
Because he's a dead
guy and he doesn't fucking say shit. And I don't know.
My theory. I don't know if it's going to happen next episode, maybe at the end of the next episode, or maybe the beginning of the following. I have a feeling the first character to die will be Davos.
Oh, man.
And I predict because he has that line. This is a stretch.
That's his hands.
Remember how many days left?
1. I remember he said, like, before a huge battle, I have to go for a walk to clear my mind. I have a feeling he's going to go out walking. He's always looking at the floor, kicking the floor. Like, not really, he's trying to, like, clear his mind. I have a feeling he's just going to, like, run into them and just...
Or he dies because he doesn't take his long walk. Oh.
How would he die?
Because, like, like instead of leaving, he clears his head, he shits all night. Well, he doesn't. He doesn't get a chance to walk. He's running around panicking because he has a lot of poop. And he gets stabbed.
By who?
One of the White Walkers that attacks Winterfell.
Yeah.
I'm just being stupid.
I saw another theory that Rhaegar is the Night King.
He can't be that.
I know. It's a Rhaegar, and then they were like, "Oh, because he was a good jouster and he did all this and blah blah blah," and like that's why he could throw the spear and he could do all this.
Yeah, a jouster and a javelin are two different weapons. Go tell those people off on Reddit.
Well, what about Arya and her mace and her staff and all that other shit?
Can we talk about the Littlefinger theory of him still being alive and being a faceless man?
I was gonna bring that up.
I don't believe it.
Because
If they do that, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
what I was gonna say is that all this whole time, Baelish is just he's ensuing all this fucking mayhem and shit, and he's just in the scenes. And is he really just gonna no Sansa, please, like begging for his life? Like maybe he's behind some shit, still fucking moving the pieces of this fucking board
Bad
game.
writing.
Well, that's
all it was.
That's why I think it's important to bring it up because it could be bad writing still. Like it doesn't have to end there.
No, I mean with Littlefinger, he was horribly gotten rid of. Like for everything he did, it was a shitty ending for him. Like, please, Sansa, don't kill me. Your throat's cut. It's over. No, motherfucker, you started all this. I don't know. That I hope, in a way, I kind of hope he's alive. I hope that I don't believe the theory, but I hope it happens.
I mean, we can cut that out, but I just want to mention it that way. If it comes to the show, I'll be like, "Fucking told you."
So I feel like this ending is going to be something that few people actually predict. Few, because like everybody's predicting that Bran's the Night King, and they're like, "Oh," and everybody's gonna be like, "I fucking told you." I don't think it's gonna happen because it's too obvious, and then people have been talking about it for years.
They're probably rewriting "Son of a Bitch."
And then this new one with Rhaegar came up, and I'm like, how does that prove anything? And then the whole like, well, he has to be Targaryen because he can fly a dragon, and like they're trying to, but these things are getting stable in your brain. So I really do think that it's just gonna be like something. It's bitter. It's gonna be bittersweet, and we're gonna lose a lot of characters, but the future looks
Grim.
yeah. Obviously.
Hey man, just edit this, bro. Those are faceless. I'm a faceless man. I'm sorry.
It's just the same face over and
I know,
over.
right? Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it for theories. Yeah. Well, my kings, my queens. Until the next episode, thank you for watching another episode of A Song of Life and Death. Please follow us on youtube.com/liveanddeath. Make sure to subscribe. Let us know what you think about this episode. We're going episode by episode every week to try to review every single episode in this final season of Game of Thrones. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram @Life and Death Podcast. Once again, from Flea Bottom, my name is Alex. To the left of me, I have Fernie, Manuel, our expert in the lore, and of course, David. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you so much.
Peace.
Bye.
Vala Mogulis.
Out of the hairs.
All men must die.
Oh yes.
All men
that was
must
good.
serve.
That was